was terrible, wasn't it? It was just so bad. It was just shit, wasn't it? A proper bad fight for AJ. Money just bypassed the whole integrity of the sport. For me, yeah, the integrity of boxing was on its knees last night. You've got a former two-time heavyweight champion, Anthony Joshua, following a clown around the ring, trying to go in survival mode, like a scene out of like a Jackass, like I said earlier. It's just a fucking piss take.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Recently, Froch trashed Anthony Joshua knocking out Jake Paul, which we will discuss in detail in this video. But before that, Tom Aspinall hailed the victory as a good stoppage. He said it was a strong performance from both fighters. Jake Paul fought to make his name in the sport of boxing, while Joshua fought for the money. Aspinall noted that Joshua knew it was a relatively lesser challenge, but a highly rewarding fight, and he did a good job, knocking Jake down numerous times. However, he also praised Paul for his resilience, saying hats off to him for continually getting back up after falling again and again, showing remarkable determination despite the dominant performance from Joshua.
We don't want to see anyone lose a life. I think it was a good stoppage. This fella with the vest been loving it all the way through. I think he did all right, though. He did do all right, Jake Paul, to be fair.
What are you thinking if you're Anthony Joshua at this point?
I'd be absolutely buzzing. 50 mil in the bank. Easy fight.
Now, coming to the central topic, Froch, while reacting to this fight, mentioned that it damages the integrity of sports. He highlighted that although it was expected from Joshua to finish the fight within 2 rounds, he ended it in the 6th round instead. Froch pointed out that AJ appeared more focused on justifying the money he was making from the fight. On the other hand, he forgot to justify the fans who were expecting a dominant performance. He felt that AJ did not even try to win properly and allowed Jake to play around for several rounds, which was extremely disappointing and frustrating to watch as a fan of the sport.
Let me start with AJ. AJ was following him around the ring a little bit, sort of pouring with a jab, putting the jab on the shoulder of Jake Paul, sort of putting him in the corner and not really pulling the trigger on the right hand. He didn't seem to be motivated to go in there and just smash Jake Paul into oblivion in the first 1 or 2 rounds, which I think he could have done.
However, he also claimed that Jake Paul did not attempt to win the battle either. He maintained that both boxers' performances gave the impression that they were only carrying out a pre-fight commitment. Jake appeared completely off and showed no genuine desire to compete, despite the fact that many were recognizing him as an improved fighter. Froch also indicated that this performance was unmistakable proof of his long-held belief that Paul is incapable of fighting and ought to be prevented from boxing, which raises more questions about the legitimacy and weight of such battles.
Looked like he got out of first gear. Jake Paul was just on pure survival mode from round 1 right through to round 6. I don't know if he's got a moral victory going 6 rounds. Maybe he has. People might give him credit for going 6 rounds. But he got in there and just survived. He just went in there and ran like a chicken from round 1 right through to round 6 when he got splattered. And it's like, it's just, you can't really justify what he's done, because this is supposed to be a professional sanctioned boxing match. And I think it brings the integrity of the sport down when somebody like AJ, is a 2-time world champion, can't get in there and just completely dismiss somebody like Jake Paul, who I've said for ages can't fight. He's not a professional boxer. It's just AJ following him around, touching him to the shoulder. Round 1 came and went. Round 2 was much of the same, bit slow. I think AJ got caught with an overhand right at one stage.
And Froch did not stop there. Speaking further on Jake Paul's career, he emphasized that going ahead, he shouldn't be permitted to play the sport. According to him, Jake should only be offered fights if he takes the proper route that results in respectable and significant battles. He argued that if he keeps doing this, the sport will soon become a joke, so this guy needs to be stopped. He proceeded to say that true boxing fans who value the sport's integrity feel offended and disrespected by this circumstance.
But where does he go from here? What does he do? I'm not even arsed, man. I can't be arsed with this anymore, this clown world. It's a joke shop. It's just a big it's just an absolute charade. He shouldn't be allowed to box as a professional anymore unless he goes through the correct channels and builds his rankings up and fights bona fide professionals that are world ranked, because it's murdering the sport. It's just all about money, and it's killing. I think I've said enough about it. But what does Jake Paul do next? I don't care less. I couldn't care less. I could not care less.
AJ's performance was also questioned by Brendan Schaub, who remarked that it was not the Anthony he had known for years. He thought AJ's abilities were over because he appeared unmotivated and had slow footwork. Schaub went on to say that AJ lacked the strategies he has used to win battles in the past. He questioned why AJ had not used the same strategy in this fight. He also disclosed that, from the perspective of a true boxing fan, the fight was still quite unsatisfactory, even though he won by knockout.
Anthony Joshua didn't throw a single straight right hand for 6 rounds. He didn't cut off the ring. I'm trying to make sense of it. It's tough to pin a guy down when he's on his bike and Jake was moving so much. I'm trying to be cool. It was weird, right? Something's up.
On the other hand, in response to this fight, Nikisa Badarian stated that Jake Paul was extremely certain of winning. He entered the ring with confidence, didn't appear frightened, and even had his moments during the battle, but he was unable to complete it as many had anticipated. Although he was certain that it would be extremely difficult for Paul to defeat Anthony, he also expressed optimism that Jake could succeed. Despite the outcome, he continued, he is pleased that Jake is safe and has not sustained any significant injuries.
So he 100% believed unequivocally that he was going to win. And I talked about that with him, afterwards when he was getting showered up. He knew it was high risk, high reward. He had to land something big, but he felt like he could. My view was it was going to be very hard, but it could happen, right? And there was moments in that fight where I was like, holy shit, this kid's getting him a little bit. So, when I spoke about no matter what happens, he won, it wasn't because I didn't believe in him. But I want to be realistic about the size, the skill, the experience, the power between the two.
Like Nikisa, Vidal Riley also praised Jake Paul and expressed his conviction that he exceeded expectations. He reported that he was not expected to make it past 2 rounds, but he went through 6, which he regarded as a significant accomplishment. He added that Jake took the necessary action since he was aware that trading blows would not benefit him. Rather than engaging in punch-to-punch combat, he opted for the proper style of fighting and survived more rounds.
Big fair play. Big fair play to Jake Paul. Like, Jake Paul done what anyone would do if they stepped in the ring with an experienced fighter that they know they can't compete with. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if me and you was to spar, if you want to not get KO'd immediately, you don't stand in the middle and engage with me. Why would you do that?
I'll take my chances, to be fair.
Fair enough.
No, yeah.
Hugging.
Make it ugly as you can.
What else are you supposed to do?
Moreover, Teofimo Lopez, in his post-fight analysis, expressed gratitude to Paul for accepting the challenge. He commented that even though the outcome appeared certain, Jake's bravery was evident when he intervened against such a formidable foe. Lopez continued on to say that accepting a challenge of that caliber, particularly from someone with Anthony's level of experience and strength, requires bravery. Additionally, he expected that Jake would soon return and take on a fighter who was more like him in terms of weight and size. However, he also acknowledged Anthony's performance and remarked it was good, though he also thought it should have happened a little sooner.
Fair trade. Fair trade. That's what I say too.
What did you make of the knockout though?
Hey man, he was killing the clock. Jake Paul was killing the clock.
Do you think he fought the right fight?
Sure, you probably AJ, man. Maybe not the best game plan. Should have thrown a little bit more strong jabs. Conditioning though, that's really what it got to.
What impressed you about Jake Paul tonight? Obviously it was a brave and tall task there, but what did you make of it?
Kudos to him, man, stepping up to the plate like that. A lot of people could boo. He was killing the clock, but he did his thing. I would like to see Jake Paul come back again and really fight somebody his size.
Further delving into the reactions, Duke McKenzie implied that the fight went just as he had expected. He insisted that he envisioned Anthony chasing after Jake, and that's exactly what transpired in the ring. He reminded us that while some could hold Anthony accountable for allowing Jake to finish 6 rounds, boxing is actually about engagement rather than escape. AJ had trouble securing an early knockout victory because Jake continued to move and showed no interest in trading blows. But Joshua finished his work as soon as he had the chance.
It went exactly how I expected it to go. I thought it would have gone maybe 4 rounds. I thought it might have taken Anthony Joshua 4 rounds. 6 rounds, it doesn't make 4 or 6 rounds. It really makes no difference. The hardest thing for a boxer, AJ, to do in the boxing ring is to try and knock somebody out that won't cooperate. If you're not letting your hands go and you're just running away, that means you're in there to survive. It's hard to knock out anybody that's just in there to survive. Boxing's about 2 boxers engaging and letting their hands go and working out one another's style and getting ahead on that.
Furthermore, David Haye praised both participants for putting on an amazing show. He said that the knockout from AJ was expected, and Joshua delivered exactly that. However, what surprised boxing fans, including himself, was Jake Paul's performance. Haye noted that lasting so long against AJ is a positive sign for Paul's boxing career. While some people might criticize him for the way he fought, Haye believes Jake will feel proud of enduring those 6 rounds. Overall, he highlighted that both fighters showed skill and determination, making the bout memorable and noteworthy for fans of the sport.
AJ did what everyone expected him to do. I don't think many people thought that Jake would have been able to last as long as he did. great lateral movement. He had a great game plan to get into the later stages of the fight. Credit to him. Hope his jaw ain't too badly busted.
What's next for Adrian?
Tyson Fury as soon as possible. Get the fight, give the fans the fight they really want.
Most importantly, Jake Paul's brother, Logan Paul, hailed the fight as a victory for his brother. He said that they are proud of what Jake accomplished in the bout, and that this performance will greatly help in building future fights. Speaking about Anthony Joshua, Logan added that he was incredibly powerful and that he could feel his punches even while watching from ringside. He expressed immense pride in his brother's effort and determination, and shared his hope that Jake continues to perform even better in his upcoming fight, emphasizing both admiration and confidence in his brother's boxing future.
Minus the actual victory, of course, but bro, like no one expected him to last 6 rounds with AJ. In my opinion, he won 4 of them. People will argue that he at least won 3. No one expected him to last that long. Rolled his ankle, broke his jaw, still fighting, man. Like that's toughness. You know, most people just wouldn't have the balls ever to step in a boxing ring in their life. He stepped in a boxing ring with one of the baddest men on the planet, who's 40 pounds heavier than him and 6 inches taller. That's insane. He's one of the most skilled fighters on the planet. My brother, as a fucking YouTuber, went 6 rounds with him in a fight with a broken jaw and rolled ankle.
Going ahead, Sergey Lapin, Usyk's manager, also appreciated Jake Paul's performance as well. He explained that Paul had already won by choosing to take on such a formidable foe. Then, it was absolutely amazing to go 6 rounds in the ring and absorb Joshua's punching strength. He remarked that despite Joshua's extremely powerful strength, Jake endured admirably throughout the battle. Lapin continued on to say that Jake Paul battled valiantly, exerting all of his strength against such a formidable foe. Overall, he recognized Jake's extraordinary work in spite of the difficulty, and commended his persistence and bravery.
For me, I like this guy good. This guy 5 years training boxing in have big heart, you know. He stand up 3 times. And stand up and fight, you know. This not, AJ punch very strong.
On the other hand, like Duke McKenzie, Antonio Tarver also disclosed that the result was precisely what he was hoping for. He described Anthony Joshua's performance as commanding. Jake Paul, on the other hand, made good use of his intellect and abilities and was well aware of circumstances that would be advantageous to him. Jake attempted to generate those possibilities, according to Tarver, using movement, fake shoots, and other strategic moves. But in the end, he acknowledged that it was just insufficient to defeat Joshua. Tarver emphasized Joshua's stunning finish by saying he knew the bout was finished the instant the strong blow landed.
I expected it. AJ looked like he was putting that pressure on, but credit to Jake Paul. He didn't make it easy, bro. He wasn't no sitting duck. You know, he got on his footwork, used his ring, was moving a lot, and he landed some shots. So hats off to Jake Paul, but he was in there surviving. He didn't make it easy for AJ, but AJ landed that right hand. I knew it was over after that.
Why did it take so long, do you think?
Oh, Jake Paul wasn't a sitting duck. You know, he was putting his mind to the game, but just didn't have enough in his bag. He just, like I said, he got to get those lessons and evolve more as a fighter.
Moreover, in the post-fight statement, Andre Ward argued that this fight clearly illustrated the distinction between a professional and a non-professional boxer. He implied that Jake's poor performance was a result of his lack of expertise and experience. Ward also highlighted Jake's inadequate training, which hindered his ability to perform at a higher level. Overall, he stressed that it is very challenging to perform well in the ring when the body and head are not trained like a professional boxer.
Chris, what? Can't just throw the baby out with the bathwater, bro. Like, he's been training and he knows enough in that ring to be able to, protect himself. And he's a tough kid. You gotta respect it. But that next level of knowledge that you need to be able to navigate that, he just didn't have it. He don't have enough time in. And that conditioning that he needed, that comes from the crib.
Heading towards the end, it is also crucial to note that Anthony Joshua, in the post-fight press conference, admitted that there were many things he could have done better in the ring and mentioned that he was not entirely satisfied with his performance. However, he added that considering it was his first fight in 15 months, it was somewhat understandable. He went on to say that Jake Paul is a good fighter, who fights with a strong heart and exhibits remarkable resilience. Joshua showed respect and encouragement for his opponent, while expressing hope that Jake returns to the ring and keeps fighting, pointing out that more fights will help him reach his desired level.
What I could have done better is a lot of things, 100%. In the fight game, you've seen the amazing fighters that have graced us over the last 100 years, and the expectations that we put on ourselves are immense, but I tried my best. Jake done well while it lasted, but if you remember what I said in the interview with Cameron is...
Like Joe Shao, Eddie Hearn, in the post-fight press conference, also praised Jake Paul. Going 6 rounds against Joshua, he remarked, is no easy task. According to Hearn, Jake was able to accomplish this by adhering to his initial goals. He did, however, occasionally engage in the battle, indicating that he intended to carry out his game plan. Hearn went further to clarify that even if some people might criticize him, Jake deserves praise and respect for the kind of resilience and competence he displayed against Anthony. Overall, he underscored that Jake's play showcased both cleverness and fortitude in the face of an imposing opponent.
Continue to box, or what do you think the future holds?
Yeah, I really take my hat off. So, I mean, we have to see if it is a broken jaw. Those injuries are very difficult to come back from. But as AJ said, like that last shot would have knocked out a lot of heavyweights. And I know he went down heavy, but you know, he was conscious on the floor. And I thought his game plan, although obviously very negative early on, which it had to be, was smart at times. And there were times where he held his feet and let his hands go. You know, it was a very one-sided fight. It was always going to be a one-sided fight, but you can't.
Besides Joshua and Eddie, Nakisa Badarian, in the same event, revealed the impact of the fight on Jake Paul. He reported that the final blow broke his jaw and had a significant negative impact on his health. He added, though, that Jake was admitted to the hospital following the altercation, and it has been projected that he would take 4 to 6 weeks to recuperate. Badarian continued to elaborate that since boxing is ingrained in Paul's DNA, and he is adamant about continuing the sport at any cost, they are optimistic that he will return even stronger. This demonstrated faith in his fighting future, as well as worry for his health.
We think he broke his jaw, he's fine. We met with Netflix afterwards. He took a shower, he drove himself to the hospital. A broken jaw is very common in sports, particularly in boxing or MMA, and I think the recovery time from the doctors and surgeons we've already talked to is 4 to 6 weeks.
In short, the boxing community has reacted with mixed opinions to this knockout. Some are praising Anthony Joshua for his dominant performance, highlighting his power and experience, while others argue that Jake Paul going 6 rounds reflects a commendable effort and resilience on his part. Analysts, promoters, and fighters alike are sharing their post-fight insights, dissecting strategies and outcomes. Fans of Joshua are thrilled to see him showcase such dominance in his comeback, whereas fans of Jake now have to wait for his next fight to celebrate his achievement. Overall, it was an exciting bout that revealed both fighters' strengths and weaknesses. The boxing world is now eagerly anticipating the paths they will take in their upcoming fights.
Why do you think it took so long for Joshua to get rid of him tonight?
Well, you have to remember, Joshua's been out for 15 months. So this is like a warm-up for him. You know, he needed to get back out there. He came back to America. He lost in America. Now he's won in America. So I think he's accomplished a goal there.
You impressed with Jake Paul tonight? His heart that he got up every time he could.
Yeah, I mean, he got up until he couldn't get up anymore, basically. You know, he wasn't in that big a shape.
Now, in the end, what are your thoughts on this win? How do you evaluate both fighters' performances, especially Jake going 6 rounds with Anthony Joshua? Do you think his resilience adds to his future prospects in boxing, or does it highlight areas he still needs to improve? Where do you see both fighters heading from here in their careers? Drop your thoughts and opinions in the comments section below. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to like and subscribe, as your support means a lot and motivates us to bring you the latest updates from the world of boxing.